I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and I coach people and organizations to be more effective. And this is a video that I'm going to be doing about final interviews, because unlike first or second interviews, you're almost across the finish line. And you're probably competing with someone for the role. And thus, I want to remind you of a couple of things that you need to do in order to be prepared and ready. Now, I'm going to skip this stuff about getting a good night's sleep the night before, because the fact of the matter is you're probably going from work and the stress of the day is going to affect you. And I want you to use the adrenaline to your best advantage. If the weather is hot, get to the building a little bit early so you have a chance to cool off. If it's cold, you want to warm up. No one wants to shake hands with someone with sweaty palms or whose hands are extremely cold, right? It's just one of those little things that drives people crazy. As a reminder, if you're working through a recruiter, hopefully that recruiter has a relationship with the person that you're going to be meeting with. So you can go beyond the LinkedIn profile and hear something about what their personality is like, what they like or dislike. Because it's not enough for you to hear the pep talk of, oh, you're meeting with the VP. Ooh, as though it's this big dramatic person. No, you want to hear something about what they're like as a human being from the recruiter that may be representing you. If you don't have one representing you, you go to LinkedIn, you look at their background, get a sense of their academic experience, where they live, where they worked for before. That'll give you a sense of what their expectations of you might be. The next couple of things are going to be fairly minor. Bring a copy of your resume for each person who's going to be on your calendar. The probability is they're never going to ask for it. They'll print it out on their side before you walk in the door, but on the off chance that they haven't had a chance, you have an opportunity to present it to them if they ask for it. If they ask about references, just politely say and very casually say, I'll forward them to you after the interview, no problem at all. Do you want me to send them to you or to HR? If they say to them, can I get your email address, please? I'll give you my card afterwards. Great. You want to be prepared with some questions. And the basic questions are, like I teach in my other videos, hey, thanks so much for making time to speak with me today. I've spoken with everyone and they've been terrific. You compliment everyone who's been on your calendar so far. And I've gotten a sense of what their expectations are for the role, but I want to get a sense of yours. Could you tell me about the job as you see it and what I can do to help? What have they told you so far? And you have a prepared demonstration of your understanding of the role. That's about accurate. That's the way I would see it. Terrific. I just wanted to make sure that if you hired me, I would be on the same page with you. Great. So you've reviewed their LinkedIn profile. Hopefully you've gotten a briefing from the recruiter. And remember, one of the things that they're looking for is congruence between what you've told the organization, its people in previous interviews, and what you say today. You want to be rehearsed with one or two additional stories to ones you've previously told. Like you might, wheel out one old story by saying, as I spoke with Jerome about 2 weeks ago, as I spoke with Jerome about when I met with him, I was in a situation where and you go into a story with regard to behavioral interviewing. But the real thing, and this is the most important thing I can advise you about, is always focus on the relationship that you're going to have with your future boss. This is not just an interview where you're regurgitating facts to them. It's about the relationship and how it gets set up now for your future once you're on board. Remember, what does this person want to find out from you? Competence, self-confidence, character, chemistry, maybe a little bit of charisma, all of which translates into, I can trust this woman, I can trust this man in this organization to do what we need them to do. It becomes so important to focus on there, and I don't care what level you're being hired for. Generally, they take the information from previous interviews to determine that you have the skills then to do the job. But what makes one person advantaged over the other is the relationship that shows up with each person that you interview with, but particularly with the overall director, SVP, managing director, whatever the title is of this person who's the last interview that you're involved with. Never forget to do that. And I'll just relay a story of someone who I worked with a few years ago, who's up for chief of staff to the president of an organization. And he wanted to arrive to the final meeting with PowerPoints to demonstrate his background. Nothing intrinsically bad about that, but I reminded him, I don't want you to be focused on the presentation. I want you to be focused on the relationship that you'll have with this person, because you're going to be their chief of staff. In your case, you may be a software developer on their team or an administrative assistant or whatever the role is. But ultimately, the hiring manager has to like you and trust you and believe that you can help them achieve their objectives. Focus on that. That will help you get hired, probably more than a lot of the data that you want to present to them. Hope you found this helpful. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. If you're interested in my coaching, you connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Mention that you saw the video because I like knowing I'm helping some folks. Once we're connected, message me if you're interested in coaching. One thing I want to mention, I've got a bigger network than most other people. I'm LinkedIn member 7653. If your network isn't large enough to connect with the person or to see the profile of the person that you're going to be interviewing with, you can either do a Google search or reach out to me and say, I'd like to connect with you, not for coaching, but I have an interview coming up and wanted to look at someone's profile. Would you connect with me? I do not always accept connection requests from people, particularly outside the U.S. So always mention that this is your reason for wanting to connect with me. I'd be happy to do it so you can see whether my network will help you see this profile. Hope you found this helpful. And by the way, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, see the little icon down there? Click on that and you'll get notifications whenever I release a new video for YouTube. Lastly, my blog at thebiggamehunter.us has thousands of entries that you can watch, listen to, or read that will help you in your search. So visit thebiggamehunter.us. Have a great day. Take care.